Hi, and welcome to this week's Mortgage Broker broadcast. This week's podcast is following on from the recent theme of accountability. And several weeks ago, I talked about the power of accountability and why I feel it's so important. And so I did an overview a few weeks ago. And then last week was about self accountability. And we got into a little bit more detail about that. And one of the options and one of the things that you can do again with accountability, you can also do is about creating accountability partnerships. So it's something that I touched on a little bit on the podcast overall a few weeks ago. But this week's podcast, I just wanted to really drill down and be specific around accountability partnerships. What are they? Why are they effective? And how to create a accountability partnership as well. So I'm going to get that into the podcast. But first of all, as always, here's Leigh with this week's Mortgage Broker Bulletin.
Thank you, Craig, and welcome to the 6th edition of the Mortgage Broker Bulletin. This week, we've had a very mixed bag of lenders putting their rates up slightly, down slightly. We've had some criteria changes. All in all, in our office, we've had a very mixed bag of inquiries. But today's bulletin, I've been thinking about our actual role and the elements of other roles which are incorporated in it. We've got an element of project management, element of business development, element of account management, element of counselling, financial management, financial planning. I just say, if you're really good at all of these things and you're a good mortgage broker, really, you ought to be quite proud of yourselves. It's a very, very broad skill set that we're all working with and aspiring to. Break those little bits down, work out which ones you excel at, which ones you need work on, and put work into those areas. Have a great week. Onwards, upwards and forwards. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Leigh, for a great bulletin this week and absolutely 100% spot on. So thank you so much and thank you for that contribution. Nothing more to add from my point of view with that because that bulletin this week was absolutely spot on. So thank you for that. So yeah, just going back into the podcast, getting into the podcast now. As I said recently, a few weeks ago, talked about accountability, the power of accountability, and talked about various ways and different options you have to hold yourself accountable or working with other people about accountability. And last week I talked about self-accountability and drilled down quite a lot in terms of that. And this week I wanted to focus on accountability partnerships. It's something that I talked about very briefly on the podcast a few weeks ago. So I wanted to drill down a lot more in terms of talking about accountability partnerships. Funnily enough, I've got Alice Dartnell coming on in the podcast in a few weeks' time, who has actually set up accountability partnership. I'll not spoil too much about that. Let her to pick up on that in a few weeks' time. But that just goes on again on the theme of accountability and why that's important. So really what I wanted to do is look at what do I mean by accountability partnerships, why are they effective, and how to create one. So what do I mean by accountability partnerships? Well, accountability partnerships is like creating a support network to enhance self-accountability. So you still are holding yourself accountable, but you're working within a network with other people that are there to help you hold yourself accountable, and you are holding other people accountable as well. So I'm not talking about joining some Facebook groups, because I see plenty of those Facebook groups going on and the communities on there. That's not an accountability partnership. It's about creating a support network with other like-minded mortgage brokers. I think it's important that if you're looking at this as an option to hold yourself accountable, accountability partnerships, you're working with other mortgage brokers, so you have to have that abundance mindset when you're looking at doing this as an option, because you can't be unhappy. You've got to, because you're supporting other brokers, so you have to have that abundance mindset. You're working with other mortgage brokers to help and support each other. So if you are jealous or you've got your ego and you're very, very within the network that you're going to create, if you're then getting jealous by some other broker doing better than you, then a network, an accountability partnership may not be right. May be right, but it may not be right. But I think you've got to think that, first of all, that you've got to have that abundance mindset, that you are helping and supporting. You are getting help and support from another broker, but you also help and support another broker as well. So you've got to go in that with the right mindset. So let's look at different points of why it is effective. So first of all, having an accountability partnership does offer encouragement and motivation, because you've got in a support network of other brokers who will face the same challenges, the same highs and lows that you will. So that will help with your encouragement, help with your motivation. I think one thing with this as well is that it's important to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who, like I said, brokers will understand the challenges you face, but if you need to be working with like-minded individuals that can obviously help boost your confidence. They also perseverance is a big one as well. Being a mortgage broker, they will also help you with your inspire you to persevere as well with the challenge you're facing, keep you motivated towards your goals that you've set for yourself. Like I say, this is all about self accountability, but having an accountability partnership will help with your self accountability, enhance your self accountability. So the first thing is you look at is, like I say, it will offer encouragement and motivation. The next one is sort of sharing experiences and sharing insights, which again, being part of a support network helps you sort of tap into other people's ideas, other people's thoughts, other people's experiences, and that will help with your development. That will help with your growth as well. If you are looking at and sort of discussing and working with other like-minded individuals who are willing to share experiences as part of this accountability network. So within that, obviously, when you sort of sharing experiences and insights, you could be looking at business strategies, your business goals, business plans, sort of sharing lessons learned from the challenges that you face, or you can actually seek specific advice based on the challenges you're facing. Because like one thing that I've talked about is what I don't like to see. Don't like to see is probably a harsh phrase, but things like sweeping statements. So if you go onto a Facebook group asking a question, you're going to get loads of different views back unless it's very factual. So if you're looking at lender criteria, then it's going to be factual. Whereas if you're looking at the next a new network to join, you're going to get 1,001 responses back, and it's going to be even more confusing for you. Whereas having that accountability partnership will help with those as well. So if you're looking at specific challenges, maybe about financial advising or, like you say, growing your business or recruiting, then having a support network accountability partnership will help with those decisions. And that's where Facebook groups will not help with that. Accountability partnerships do. So, like I say, and also as well, you're going to have, when you sort of sharing other people's sort of experiences, you're also going to get sort of somebody else's perspective as well. So one thing that the brokers that I coach, the feedback that I get is that it's good to have sort of somebody else's from the outside looking in, their perspective in terms of what you're looking to do as a business. So again, having that accountability partnerships will help with that aspect of it. If you're thinking, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, I want somebody else's opinion on it, accountability partnerships is the place. Facebook groups are not on that. So accountability partnerships and why they're effective is that you've got a support network, you've got like-minded individuals, you are establishing accountability partnerships with fellow mortgage brokers and business owners. So you're setting your goals, you're setting your targets, you're setting your actions of what you want to achieve. So you've got that regular check-in with other mortgage brokers and business owners, that you're helping and holding each other accountable. That's what you've got to understand with this, is when you're setting up accountability partnerships and why they are effective, is that somebody's going to hold you accountable. So you've got making sure that you're committed, you're accountable for your goals and your actions, and you're more likely to make them happen. But you've got to, because it's a partnership, it's a two-way thing. So you're going to hold somebody else accountable for their goals and their targets as well. So it's very much a mutual benefit going on. So you've got to have that partnership mindset, whether there's one broker, two brokers, three business owners, whoever you're working with in this accountability network. you're all working in this together. It's not one person steals the show and it's all about that individual. It's all about helping each other out. So you've got to be mindful of that as well. And also as well, with accountability partnerships, you can also develop your skills and your learning opportunities as well, because you can support each other with regards to learning and self-development and skill development. You're sort of sharing each other's knowledge. You've got peer-to-peer, you've got like-minded individuals who you are working with who will want to achieve the same things as you maybe, or will have shared this, had the experiences that you maybe have experienced. But so you can sort of very much around skill development, and you again with holding accountable. If you want to develop an aspect of your business or you as an individual, you're holding yourself accountable, but having accountability partnerships helps you with that accountability as well, to develop your skills, to have self-development, if that makes sense. So again, it does, it's helping you enhance and looking at new skills you want to achieve. Because if you've got an accountability partnership going on and you say to that partnership, this is what you wanting to achieve, you wanting to put in equity release into your business as an example, well, if you've not got that accountability partnership going on, that could just drift. You might never ever do it. Whereas if you've said that you want to do that within the group or within the network, then you're more likely for it to happen as well. And people, maybe somebody that experienced that. And again, it just will help with your skills development, your self development, and your learning opportunities as well, because there might be things that they're learning about that you have not thought about. But again, and that might be something as well with it. So there's a lot of positive with regards to accountability partnerships. And the last one as well is sort of like emotional support and well-being as well. I talk a lot about well-being in mortgage brokers, being a self-employed mortgage broker, being a business owner can be and is a very lonely journey. So having that support network can alleviate those sort of feelings of isolation and stress as well. They will help alleviate the stress as well. So being able to talk about your triumphs and your wins and talk about the challenges that you face within a supportive peer group who understand your journey will help with your mindset, will help with the emotional side of the support as well, will help reduce your anxiety and also promote, well, just overall promote well-being. So I think that's also why accountability partnerships, self-support networks are the right ones, are very good for being a mortgage broker and business owner. And that's why I wanted to include it as part of the podcast. So we now understand why and how effective support networks, accountability partnerships can be. So what you're thinking right now, yeah, that sounds great, but how do I go about creating a support network? Well, the first thing you need to do is identify potential members and sort of look at individuals within industry, look at your social media platforms and who is posting about stuff that you resonate with, understand with, share similar values, share similar goals. Obviously, they're going to share the same challenges, but so like I said, it could be colleagues within your same firm, or it could be fellow business owners, it could be people within your network, as in the official, like the network that you're part of, that you trade under. Again, there could be business owners on there. Just start to look out. If you're thinking this is something I want to do, then absolutely start to look at the places and look at the people that are out there that might be open to being part of your accountability partnership. So industry peers, you could like say members of networking groups as well, and just who do you sort of see on a regular basis that you sort of connect with in a certain way. So absolutely. So first of all, you need to identify potential members. Secondly, then engage and build relationships with those individuals. So you need to take action. You need to take the initiative to connect with those individuals. Talk about what you're looking to do and the reasons why, and then reach out to those people. Don't be afraid of a rejection. People you might look to reach out to might say no to you. No, they don't want to be part of your accountability group or your accountability network. That's fine. If they don't want to be part of it, then fine. It's better to know at the early stages. They may join in the future once you've established. Who knows? But you want to don't be afraid of getting rejection on this part. But I would say, you want to be taking initiative with it. You want to be look at networking events you go to, join online communities, look at Facebook groups, but then you will see people on the Facebook groups that you might connect with and might share your same values, but there'll be certain ones on there that won't share the same values as you. But what I say as well is be picky with the people that you were choosing to be part of your network. Definitely, I would certainly be picky because you want to be working with like-minded individuals. So once you've established who you're working with, you sort of engaging with those individuals and trying to look at setting this network, setting this approach, accountability partnership up. What you want to then do is develop those meaningful connections by sort of engaging in communication with those individuals. So what you want to do is you've established who you're working with. They're being part of this group. Is then now you want the regular communication. So what does the communication look like within this partnership? Like, is it regular meetings? How are those meetings held? Is it phone calls? Is it a WhatsApp group? Is it a group discussion going on? The WhatsApp group's quite a good one because that tends to help quite a bit in terms of quick messages or voice notes and things like that on there. But it seems just important about staying in touch with each other, whether that's phone calls, emails, and social media. But what I say as well is having that set time and day. So you've got those bits in between, but they're having that set time and day each month where you've got that accountability meeting going in with each other. So it might be the first Monday in every month at 10 o'clock. This is when you hold your accountability partnership. So just get some structure within that as well. So we talked about individuals. We talked about you being you taking the lead with it. We talked about then setting up regular communication. What you've also got to do as well is a real one is can be a difficult one as well. But it's about setting boundaries and expectations as well. So if you hopefully got like-minded individuals within your accountability partnership, it's important. Then you won't have to be too strict with the boundaries and expectations. However, it is important to be clear with your goals from the outset, what your expectations are, and the level of accountability that each other seeking or people within the group is seeking from day one. I think that is important because what you don't want to do is you've got this accountability partnership going on and then they step over the line, the person you're working with, if it's on a one-to-one, and then they step over the line in terms of what you were looking for within this partnership. All the hard work that's been done can turn sort of negative quite quickly. So what you've got to do is making sure you've got to set expectations and goals and boundaries within what you're looking for from this partnership. I think that's sort of very important. And then the last one, which goes again back to motivation, is about showing gratitude and positive support. You've got to understand that you are going to listen to other people's challenges and you've got to be positive. You can't be negative within that. You've got to look culture, sort of cultivate the right culture. You've got to making sure that people feel positive within this support network and want to be part of what you're doing. And I think that's important to be clear that it's about positivity. It's about, I see the Facebook groups and I've seen other WhatsApp groups as well, where there's all the neg ferrets, they're sort of the negative, they might start picking on one person and then everybody else joins in, the keyboard warriors and the rest of it. Whereas this is not, an accountability partnership is not this. This is a very positive environment. It's about helping and supporting each other. It's about having the abundance mindset. And you've got to appreciate the support that everybody's providing within the group, because you're going to give support, you're going to receive the support. It's about being proactive, offering your own support as well. That is important, but being proactive with that and offering help and support from your point of view is important as well, because you're looking to build very strong mutual relationships based on support and helping each other, because this is what you're trying to do. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever growth looks like for you will be different to each other's. As I've said, it's always about running your own race, and it's understanding that. But it's important to know that it's about the positivity that accountability partnerships can bring. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So we've talked about what is accountability partnerships, what are they, why they are effective, and how to create one. So I think it is another option. Certainly an option to help enhance your self-accountability. So if you're going down the self-accountability route, enhancing it even further by getting accountability partnerships set up. Absolutely. As I said, Alice on the podcast in a few weeks' time. She'll talk about it as well with regards to that. But I'm a firm believer of accountability, as I've said plenty of times before. And if you're going down the self-accountability route, accountability partnerships will help, will speed up the process, will help you grow, and will sort of build up your confidence, will give you that perseverance, will build up that resilience to make sure that you're building a successful mortgage broker business. So yeah, that's the podcast for this week. Last one, the one next week will be the last one about accountability, which I'll talk about that. But yeah, any thoughts, comments about accountability or the podcast, please leave them in whichever platform you listen to or watch the podcast. I've gone on this week a little bit more about accountability partnerships. It's taken a bit more longer than normal. However, hopefully that made sense. Any other thoughts or comments, please leave a message. Anything that you think want to be part of the podcast or any guest suggestions like that, then again, please reach out and leave me a comment or send me a DM or whatever. And yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Hopefully you found this accountability series so far useful. We've got one more episode in this series next week. And as always, don't forget to run your own race.